All right, and we're back here on Couch Coach Live. Another Wednesday night under lights here on Couch Coach Live. What's going on, Maui?
I'm good. How about yourself, man?
Here, man. I know we took a bye week last week, but we're here, man.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
just yeah, we're here. Grinding, working, man. Just all over the place these last 2 weeks, but we are here. So yeah, for sure.
Quick question, man. How does it feel
Yeah.
like? How does it feel like you looking at the teams that you praise that you go for is actually in the mix and is doing okay? How does that feel?
Surreal. It is. It's kind of one of those things where it's like and it's funny. I talked to one of the guys here that one of the radio guys, and we were just talking like it's amazing how when you have a team that follows everything as far as when it comes to how to build a team, like how
Mm-hmm.
all these teams we always talk about all the time on the show where all these teams always want to reinvent the wheel. It's
Right.
building teams. It's not. It's practical. It's
Mm-hmm.
you can write it down on a piece of paper, but it's hard to kind of implement like those steps. But what they've gone through those steps, and you just look at it feels it's a good feeling, but it's kind of weird, and it's like it almost kind of gets you in a sense of paranoia. Like I was talking to one of the guys today,
Right.
and I was like, I'm scared. Like what's gonna happen to Cliff? Like Cliff Kingsbury, like. Somebody's gonna try to snag him, and it's kind of one of the
Right.
things where it's like, okay, you think, okay, who's gonna leave from this team, and you shouldn't think that
Mm-hmm.
in October, let it
Mm-hmm.
all kind of play out. Now I understand like when certain fan bases, when you have like pieces that you think could potentially go the following year, how you feel. That's how I'm
Mm-hmm.
really feeling at this point. Just slowly just enjoying the moment and just letting it like what happened Sunday. It was awesome. Like it was just regardless. I got off the internet because I know everybody say, well, you beat the Panthers. It does not matter. Like a
Right.
win is a win. If in the previous administration, we probably would have lost that football game, and that game would have been closer than what it is. The fact that we won
Right.
that game 47 and essentially had Marcus Mariota that game,
Mm-hmm.
take it, enjoy the win, forget what the haters say, just enjoy it. Because I
Right.
know
Right.
people's ready to say, "Oh, 47, y'all beat a bad team," and that's what you're supposed to do. That's what. So going back to how what a team should be that's successful. You beat the
Right.
bad team. You beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. You don't just let them like lollygag and let them, give them any room for error for them to come back in the football game. And
Right.
yeah,
Right. Uh,
yeah,
let me get mine in because I know we got to do our intro.
yeah. Mhm.
Virginia trusts Virginia people trust Virginia people. That's how I feel. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because that boy from Todd was he from William and Mary? Where's he from? Todd Mark Tomlin's from
Uh,
what? Where's he from?
Tom William and Mary. Yeah, him. Yeah,
He
he
from
went to
William and
William.
Mary, right? He went to William and
Yeah.
Mary.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. He got that boy from Tuckahoe out there, and I was
Yeah.
scared in the first quarter, man. Let me tell you something.
Hmm.
Because we've had quarterback issues since Ben. And with Ben's last year, he
Yep.
did okay, but he was really, you know what I mean, shaky. But man, let me tell you, when that first quarter, man, and he just was like throwing the ball behind people and this and that. But one thing about our sports, man, sometimes if you just have a good defense and nobody's talking about this, did the coach? They ain't talking about that special teams. That special teams was actually, I think, it was part of the reason that influenced the rest of the game because they actually blocked like three field goals. I think they took one away or something like that, but man, like you just seen it in the second half just really come. And it was like, okay, now we starting to understand the difference between Fields and Wilson. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Where you
Hmm.
use your feet, and Wilson's the best at it. Use your feet to actually help to throw the pass. You know what I mean? So it just feels
Yep.
great, man. It does feel
It
great.
does. I'm telling you, winning cures a lot of things. Like as far as when it comes to
Hmm.
just everything, it's a good feeling. Like to think that hey, you can win these football games and don't have to be a drag out week in and week out type of situation. And it's just
Hmm.
it's just a good feeling. Like I haven't felt this in years. Probably I don't even really think 2012 was comparable to kind of how I feel present day with this team, because obviously we struggled in this part of the season. But the fact, I think probably with 08 was probably, it's been the last time we've been like this good this early in the season, and that's
I
what
think I
kind of
got y'all
scares
winning
me
y'all
about all
division.
that.
I think
Oh
I
yeah,
picked y'all to
yeah,
winning y'all division. I think I picked
yeah,
y'all to win y'all
because
division.
yeah, I was kind of leery because I knew, like, as far as I kind of knew what was Philly was going to do. I kind of figured, I know Dallas was going to kind of take a few steps back, but it looked like they done fell off the staircase at this
Right.
point early on. But obviously, we play them a month from tomorrow, so I mean, who's to say what's going to happen then? But hey, it's the division. We don't really see how this division gonna shape up in the next few weeks, because I think we got, after we play y'all, well, we got the Giants the 3rd. We play y'all on the 10th. Then we got quick turnaround on the 14th against the Eagles on that Thursday night. Tell Lurix to be there. Anyway. And then the next week it'll be Dallas, and then we got Tennessee and then the bye. So yeah, we'll have three division opponents with the next 4 or 5 weeks. So we'll really kind of see what this football team is really about. Where you're really be playing like your NFC East opponents. Think about it. After that, we'll play Philly one time. We'll play them, I think that's the Sunday after Christmas, to be determined, and then week 18 against the Cowboys at Dallas. So, yeah, we got a rough stretch coming up. So we can kind of weather the storm there, and we got a good shot.
Before we move on, just one more thing with your team. What is the best new thing that you see with your team that is a new weapon for your team that you're excited about?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think it starts with the quarterback of Jay Daniels. I think you look at
Okay.
it just from the standpoint of just how he's so elusive. He has that ability. I love what like Cliff Kingsbury has done as far as catering to Jaden's strengths. So I definitely think that's a key. I mean, you just look at how he kind of brings that infectious type of energy to this football team. You see, like now he's starting to click with Terry McLaurin. So you look at that, and you see how he's, and then obviously and it opens up the run game. Brian Robinson now is looking like the running back that we all thought he was going to be. So yeah, I mean. Yeah, and then even last week, you look at kind of like the contribution of the tight ends. I mean, this offense, I mean, I don't even remember the last time I can really think that this team was this prolific, like offensively, that I've seen it. It's been a long time where a lot of guys are just getting opportunities to flourish. Like even last week, even with Marcus Mariota, you look at the tight end Ben Sinnett, he got a one. Then Zach Ertz got one. So yeah,
Okay, for me, and I'm gonna say, I know we got to do our intro. For me, is that we've always been physical with our linebackers, even with our corners, and I feel like our defensive line has always been pushy. We always had that, but I think we're starting to get a reputation of taking that ball away. Taking the ball away from a fumble standpoint. And also interceptions. I think the last 3 games it's been kind of crazy, and I'm like, okay, they're going to be a threat. They're going. I mean, the team is going. Other teams are going to throw the ball, but it's damn sure it's going to start being a threat. You got to be careful where you're throwing that ball at, or it's going to get snipped. So I've been seeing that. Nobody's talking about it, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We're getting a reputation for that. That's even scarier. You know what I mean? I don't know. I ain't coming out of the box yet, but I'm getting a lot of confidence. I really can't see. We're going to eventually play some division guys, and I know that's coming. But yeah, man, I'm feeling good right now.
Yeah, I mean, because the way things are looking in the NFC and the AFC North, it's really a 2-team race potentially. I mean, you look at Baltimore and Pittsburgh. I mean, we'll talk about Cleveland. Unfortunately,
Right.
as the show progressed, and then you look at kind of Cincinnati, where Cincinnati, one moment you thinking like, okay, they're gonna turn it around, and then they kind of give you somewhat false hope. But I mean, they're another team that could potentially sneak in that
Yeah, they can sneak
2-team
in.
race there. But so the division's not as difficult or the path to win a division not as difficult as I envisioned, where I thought all 4 teams essentially would be kind of almost like a blue and black type situation where they're gonna 1 week they beat you, almost kind of like how the SEC is kind of now in college football, where the top dog 1 week is Georgia, 1 week is Alabama, the next week is Texas, and then all of them fall down, in a matter of in a matter of a week, a matter of 3 weeks in this case. But yeah, that's how I kind of envisioned that was going to happen with this division. It still might happen, but that's to say. But yeah, it's gonna be a thrilling end to the finish, especially as we get ready to almost approach this second half. We almost there, but we almost creeping up, which is crazy. Think the NFL season almost halfway over. That's bizarre. That's bizarre.
October's almost over. Well, October's over with. This the last week.
Yeah.
About right.
This last week. Yeah. And you sit and think to yourself, the trade deadline.
Hold on. This is the last week. Is somebody's birthday coming up? Man, we gotta get the intro. Somebody's birthday coming up right there.
Yeah, allegedly. Yes, yeah. In about 90, but 4 days. 4 days from today. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this will be a big one. I'll be turning 40. Wow, which is crazy.
All right, we talk off air about that. Let's see what's going on. You know what I mean?
So what we're gonna do? So tonight we got a great show for your lineup tonight. So we'll discuss DeAndre Hopkins. He's headed to Kansas City. We'll talk about NBA opening night. We'll kind of talk about just our overall thoughts of what happened in Boston and LA last night. So we'll talk about that. The Browns, they don't deserve nice things anymore, but we'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about Tua set to come back. We'll talk about that and pretty much Tua, we'll talk about that. We'll, do that. And then we'll talk about some our games to watch this week, and then we'll do some picks. So what we'll do, we'll be right back here on Couch Coach Live. We're going to kick that intro, and we will be right back. Yes, and we're back here. Big shout out to our guy, Big Kirko. We definitely like that. Matter of fact, we are we're 2 days away from the anniversary of that You Like That Club. That was by far one of the most epic comebacks in Washington Redskin history. I think that's when we were playing Tampa Bay. I forgot what year that was. I think that was October. I know it was October 25th of 2000. It's probably got to be 14 or 15. I think it's 15. 14. I think it was 15. If my memory serves correct. I think it was. I think it was 2015. If my memory serves correct, because I'm now got to get my mind going. Because I know. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look that up. But we are on the anniversary of that You Like That clip where that was a hell of a game. That was probably I think it was kind of probably one of the best performances in his Redskin tenure with Kirk Cousins, especially that game. It was but
I think that's what turned him? Like what
But I always think Kirk had that dog in him. I think what ended up happening, because I think obviously in that 2012 season when let's see, because RG3 got hurt against the Ravens that year, and then he came and he came in the week after and we played Cleveland, and we won that game in Cleveland. think he's always had it. I think obviously with the situation at that time, because because you think about it, Shanahan essentially drafted him kind of almost like not an fu to Daniel Snyder, but it's like he's seen like that potential in Kirk Cousins, and then obviously
Mm-hmm.
transition to when Jay Gruden was here. He not like Kirk, and it's one of the things where I think he's had it. And I think that 2015 year where essentially it all kind of clicked. We end up winning NFC East that year. So yeah, so it's the night.
Right.
It'll be the 9-year anniversary on Friday of you like that, and yeah. So
Yeah, right.
always great to hear that. That's one thing that evokes so many good memories.
Is
So
that the
we
year
always had
RG3
that
got hurt?
intro. Well, yeah, that was one of the years. Yeah,
One of the
so
years,
I think
right? Y'all won the
that's
division, but he was
yes.
getting hurt, so Kurt was able to play, right?
Because I think he ended up having a concussion or something ended up happening, and I know at some point he was like the backup. I think some games he was a healthy scratch, but that was the year they won the division in 2015. I think that might have been Jay Gruden's second year with us. Because I think because Shanahan got fired right after 2013 season, so Gruden came in 2014. So yeah, crazy times. But
Yeah, I
hey,
remember them times.
that's that's done. That's done with. We
Right,
on
right,
to good times.
right.
Yeah, this was those are the years where you knew something bad was gonna happen. You knew you was gonna get a telegraph telling you something bad was gonna happen. But yeah, so we gotta start in the not association. We're gonna start actually in the NFL. So we gotta talk about DeAndre Hopkins. So obviously DeAndre Hopkins, former Tennessee Titans wide receiver, was traded this morning to the Kansas City Chiefs for a fifth round, but it can turn into a fourth round if the Kansas City Chiefs make the Super Bowl, or D Hop gets 60% of the snaps. So this year in this Tennessee Titan offense, where you have, obviously Coffee with the Mayo, I got Will Levis, and then Mason Rudolph, your boy Maui. So he really hasn't got much traction,
Jordan Knight.
essentially. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, on the season, so D Hop only has 15 receptions for 173 yards. And coming off from last season where he had 75 receptions and a little over 1,000 yards receiving. So, what are
Hmm.
your thoughts on D Hop going to Kansas City?
Uh, it's funny to me because the Chiefs are one of those teams where like my receiver number 14. I was telling my dad last year. I said if they don't get a quarterback in there to get that young man the ball, I said we're going to lose him, and somebody's going to get him for cheap. And I said it's probably going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what I mean? Because they just one of those teams that just get receivers and make it's not get receivers or get old players or get players that are still special and bring it out of them. And I think players that are special like that or players that just want an opportunity love going to teams like a Kansas City because they're going to use them. They're probably more open to be um, do the things that the team or the organization is basically telling them to do. Because you don't really hear too. I mean, you don't hear too much negative stuff about Kansas City, and Andy Reid's got to be a coach everybody like. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy for him because I remember how he left the Texans and going to the Cardinals, thinking that that was going to be something special, and it wasn't. You know, he definitely he's still great, but it seemed like his level went down, and then him going to the Titans, and he was kind of to me he's still stagnant because Titans wasn't going to do anything, the Cardinals wasn't. I feel like when the Texans was actually, even though they wasn't doing well, they was on. We had promise or hope that the Texans at that time was going to do good with Watson, with Watt, and all of them. You know what I mean? And the drama that happened from that we don't have to get into. But if anybody want to look into it, you'll see he really probably should be still with the Texans. But the person that was running that the team at that time, not the owner, but the coach and the GM, was very disrespectful to him, and he had to leave. And then it trickled down all the way down. So I'm happy for him. And I'm happy for the Chiefs too, because even though they've had all these injuries and all these things, they're still 6-0. You know what I mean? And that just show you him coming there, and they may have a great package for him, how they may level up, because they are a team that know how to balance with you, but always have an extra step to be better to you to win. So I think it's great for him. It's great for both of them. I mean, how do you feel about the actual trade and what the Titans, the whole setup for them? You think they just giving him away?
I mean, yeah, I mean, at this point, yeah, I think they just it's like to me, I think this is the kind of the beauty of this time of the year, and
Mm-hmm.
because in this time of year, either you're a buyer or a seller,
Right.
and and you're starting to see like, and that's what I think it's gonna be so. It's gonna be great in these next. I want to say what's today, Wednesday. So the next 13 days, essentially between now and the trade deadline, you're gonna see a lot of. I call it like the flea market variety. You're gonna see a lot of 9 a.m. Saturday morning flea market yard sales, in a sense,
Right.
yard sales essentially. When I think they're just in
Mm-hmm.
the market of it, and you even look at, and I talked about their stats, his stats this year. I mean, he's not even an integral part of the office. I know they was trying to implement like Calvin Ridley, so it's kind of been one of the things where this Titans team, yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily say they're punting, but hey, they are sellers in this market. And that's one thing of beauty about all this, where this trade deadline is gonna be so robust. And we talk about guys. I know we won on air last week, but I mean, you think of like guys that were traded last week. You look at
Right.
Amari Cooper goes to Buffalo, and I think he's going
Right.
to change for them. And then you look at Devontae Adams. We talked about him weeks ago, and then we knew he was going to be moved, and he ended up being moved to the Jets. But
Right.
yeah, I think this is a good move for the Chiefs because obviously you look at just what they already have from the wide receiver perspective already there. You look at obviously Rasheed Rice is hurt; he's done for the year. Hollywood
Mm-hmm.
Brown is done. So now you pretty much have your cupboard is bare from the wide receiver. I know you still have Xavier Worthy there, Miko Harmon. I think he's still there. So you
Right.
look at they definitely need it, and then you look at what's going on with this team. You look at even the production of Travis Kelce is kind of have gone down. But I mean, hey,
Right.
he is 35 years old, so I think Father Time is starting to kind of creep up on him. Even DeAndre Hopkins, even at 32 years old, is still. But I think he's going to be one of those where they needed that weapon, and I think Kansas City will use him to the best of his ability. I don't necessarily do I think he can emerge and be 1,000-yard receiver this year. I doubt it, but I
Mm-hmm.
definitely think he's going to be really effective. Because we how many? Okay, they 6-0. So what? They got how many games left? So they got 11. I don't necessarily think it, but he would definitely be a welcome addition, especially for
Right.
them because they really don't really have much. And even and also they got Juju as well there too. So
Right.
it's like kind of a makeshift. I think it's like he's like a band-aid to kind of heal that. He's just band-aid. I think that's what they need. And I think that's one thing when they need that, especially and you're only really you're not giving much draft capital. So I mean,
Right.
I guarantee you whoever they were to ever draft in this predicament in 2025, DeAndre Hopkins will have more production present day than what
Mm-hmm.
this fourth or fifth round pick that they had to cough up would be productive in 2025. So
Right.
yeah, definitely a great deal for him.
And that is exactly what I was trying to explain to my dad. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
teams like that, right, will mess around and get a older or a young talent. You know what I mean? And for
Mm-hmm.
cheap. You know what I'm saying? And say, okay, because that team might say, he was here. And I'm talking about my receiver, 14, where he seemed like he could be a little undisciplined, little creative, a little prima donnish, but he got something special. You know what I mean? Seriously, you could do, if they work with him, it could be something extremely special. And I'm like, man, if they don't give him the ball so we can see it, he's gonna mess around and they gonna send him somewhere else where they gonna use him and then they gonna pay him the money that he may
Yep.
want. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I said, that's the whole thing of having a great organization. What we were just talking about earlier with your team, a great organization, great owners, great assistant coordinators, a great coach that understand that it is a business. So put the ball in my hand. You know what I mean? Let me run the ball. Let me catch the ball. You know what I mean? Don't just keep going to 1 and 2. Use me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I can get a decent contract.
And that's I would call it KD. I don't know if we want to give out his government. I mean, Kenji.
Yeah,
Well,
can call him Katie. That's what he like.
KD, we call him KD. Yeah, because we,
Yeah.
because like when people say my government name, I'd be like, chill. So KD pretty much say that, hey, great structure in KC, easy to plug and play within, just unexpected
Right.
bag. Yeah, so yeah, all good, bro. But yeah, I just know because I know I'm a stickler for that type of stuff.
Right.
Like I ain't calling no names, but
you know what's weird about the Chiefs? I feel like they even keep it open to have players like DeAndre Hopkins and a Juju, like players like that, like a player, like, you know what I mean, that got 13,000 yards and blah blah blah. Like I believe they keep it open to try to maybe if somebody do get hurt that they could snatch them in. Like, how could Kansas City get that? Like, it's teams we've been saying for a couple weeks now need some receivers, and they didn't even try to make that move. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
crazy. That's what I'm saying. It's the 9 a.m. set. Well, 7 a.m. Saturday yard sale in the neighborhood for sure. You just gotta be up there. The deals are there. You just gotta get up early. Don't go to no yard sale at 11 o'clock. Then you gonna get a bargain. They get ready to close up shop.
I heard something today. I heard something today at a store, and I asked him. I said, "Are you serious?" And he said something about K Cup.
Cooper Cup, yeah.
It might be a team that's having conversation, and they one of those 4-2 teams. They said they having conversation and maybe bring him in.
Yeah, and there's going to be a market for him too, and I think it's going. I'm telling you, like, and we're gonna talk about that as well too. Well, not that, but as far as he'll be a piece, right. And then and we'll be talking about the Browns shortly. They're another one. They're gonna be that. They're gonna be that nice little cul-de-sac yard sale at 7 o'clock. You better get your tail out there because they got everything out there. They're gonna have PlayStation.
Yeah, I think a lot of players want to leave. Yeah, we get there.
On the low. Trust me, you want to go there because at that yard sale, they selling lemonade. They got games, clothes, everything for the whole family.
They got the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 1 through 5, I think it is. You know what I mean? They got the VCR that you can play it or DVD player. Yeah, they got it. You know, they got everything there because what they did, they leaving. Yep.
So if whatever if they, you better have your cash ready, your cash out ready, whatever.
They take everything. PayPal, I'll use.
And you better go to that yard sale early. This is one. You can't go to Cleveland Browns yard sale at 11 o'clock. Think you gonna get Myles Garrett? You're not. But we're gonna let's not put the cop.
Hell, you might. You know what? He might. You never know, B. A lot of people are upset.
That'd be confused when I got Myles Garrett from Fox 5 Atlanta, but the other Myles Garrett. So yeah, so it's a little bit, So.
Trust me, Myles Garrett. We talk about. I believe he went to Magic City.
Possibly, more than likely.
With the bill.
I think he had a cup of coffee. I think he at least had a cup of coffee in Magic City. Not literally, but
Oh man, we need to stop.
Yeah. So we're gonna kind of shift our focus to the NBA, but then we're gonna hop back into the NFL. So we kind of make a little detour out of these NFL streets. So we're gonna talk about NBA opening night. So, if it's just what was just your overall thoughts on last night? I mean, you could talk about the Celtics game, the Lakers game. I know we're probably gonna talk about the same thing in a sense. So that's kind of one
All
of those
right,
where it's like, hey, what's your thoughts?
um, it was great. I think even the Boston Celtics getting their rings. Watch them how they came out. They basically said, "This is our new formula. We're going to shoot a bunch of threes," and then they were on their way to beat the record. And I think making the most threes, and they couldn't hit anything after that. I don't know about New York, man. I really felt like New York would have came out there and try to. Maybe they just wanted to see. I don't know for Tibbs' team, you would have thought they would have played harder defense and tried. Like it don't really seem like they really tried, especially having somebody like Cat. To me, it looked like uh the Mavericks versus the Timberwolves. You know what I mean? Where it just seemed like the Timberwolves just couldn't do anything. Um, so I'm not a big Boston Celtics believer. You know what I mean? I know everybody's saying that they really believe. I haven't seen something where, like, when I saw Denver, I believe Denver could repeat. You know what I mean? I don't feel that way. I can't see a team that's not a true 3-pointer team shooting 49. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like 49 threes. I can't see that. You know what I mean? But that's just me. Prove me wrong. The Lakers game, I'm a Laker fan. I definitely wanted to see the Timberwolves. I thought they won the trade. I think they look vulnerable without Cat. I think it's just going to take some time so Randall could figure out his role. He got 16 points. 16 points. I think he got like 10 rebounds or something like that. 16.9 rebounds. I think they're gonna eat Rudy Gobert up, man. You know what I mean? I think what's the young man from that came from New York with the trade? I mess his last name up all the time.
We call him Dante. You call him Dante.
Dante. Okay, Dante.
DiVincenzo,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
that's one of the reasons why New York didn't look as good because he was hitting big shots for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It kept them in the loop. It's not Josh Hart. Josh Hart is just an extra wing guy that can help out. He's like the Iron. You know what I mean? The Iron Man. And I think they're gonna miss him, especially since Bridges isn't hitting like he was. But basically, man, of course, being able to see LeBron and Bronny come out. That was great to see King Griffey Jr. and his father is great. And to me, it's great also because there's a lot of people, a younger generation, that don't know about the Griffeys. And you know what I'm saying? Because they don't really talk about baseball as much as they used to. And now, Bronny fans, because Bronny is bringing in a lot of fans. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know Bronny got more followers than Patrick Mahomes. I didn't know. That's crazy to me. You know what I mean? So, I thought that was good. I gave the game ball to somebody else that's connected to that, and then I'll wait till later. But what I liked about the Lakers was I really liked connect. I really liked. I think Austin Reeves have somebody else that's going to have the same energy as he do. I think D'Lo going to have to take a step back. To be honest with you, I liked how they used the center. I liked definitely AD. Anthony Davis, people talking trash, but Anthony Davis played 76 games last season, and he played in the Olympics. So this might be an older, mature Anthony Davis that's has figured out how to move, how to use his body, when to turn it on and when to turn it off. You know what I mean? Who else? That's about it, man. And I liked the zone that they were playing. There's a lot of little things I saw in the game because I'm a Laker fan that I was really excited about. Rui seemed like he's free. It looks different. I know it's only been one game, but it really did look different than the last probably 3 years.
Yeah, and Rui was aggressive. I remember what was it? Either the first or second play when he had that dunk.
Right.
He looked real aggressive last night.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I looked like last night. Obviously, the Celtics win. I mean, I did like the fact that they came out like kind of guns blazing, especially after a championship expectation because normally those games usually they're a
Right.
little flat. I mean, obviously most teams, especially who coming off of that. So I give them a lot of credit for them kind of what
Right.
they did last night.
Right.
And it's, like I said, it's early. It's too early to kind of tell
Right.
how the
Right.
Celtics team is going to be at this point. But I mean, they
Right.
look good. And you this 3-point, them shoot because they attempted what like 62 last night. Was it 62?
Yeah. Yeah. It
It was
was like
62. So sometimes
60,
was it
63.
63? Okay, so yeah,
And they
so
made 29. Yeah.
yeah, so it's just kind of one of those things where you look at it where there are going to be nights where it's not going to fall. I mean, even though
Right.
even last they were hot last night, then they kind of sizzled, and at that
Right.
point when it sizzled, the lead was already there. So I mean,
Right.
it's like I said, it is it is. I guess I can say week one, like it's the NFL. It's day one
Right.
essentially.
They won.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of one of the things where it is what it is. But I did like the fact that with that's concerned. But I think the coolest moment obviously with Bronny and LeBron and we even
Hmm.
said and this is so anybody want to come back and fact check me because I know this is the season of fact checking. But so go back to I think we did the episode either right before the 4th of July or maybe the first week of July or the last week of June, and there was a title called "Bring Your Son to Work." I think we titled it "Bring Your Son to Work," and we still said it was going to be a cool moment when this happened. But boy, we're gonna give you some of these jokes. So it's one thing where hey, we're gonna because that's what we are. We family. You know how family are. We will always joke on each other, but it's all out of
Right.
love. It ain't like no disrespect, no none of that. We know,
Right.
like I said, I really wasn't a fan of the whole like the innuendos behind the agent. That
Hmm.
but I still say okay, it still be a cool moment when it happened, and it was a cool moment. It's just kind of one of the things where, and it's funny how they led before they got in. Obviously, they had the commercial of LeBron hazing them. And it's
Hmm.
kind of weird, like as far as and I did like the moment when they were get ready to get in, and he gave us some good advice, and you think to yourself like, that's just some great fatherly sage advice, and that's like freaking cool to think to yourself. We've always have kind of got that type of advice, but just
Right.
imagine to think something like that where he said, "Hey, don't worry about the noise." Just focus. Don't worry about making
Right.
mistakes. And that's, I mean, you think to yourself, wow, that's crazy. That's just something you think to yourself, like, man, that is some good, just sage advice that you can use that for any type of face life. But even imagine in that kind of, in that sequence and all that. It was
Right.
just, I think it was
And he
just a cool
said,
moment.
play freely. And I'm gonna tell you
Play
something,
freely.
man.
Yep.
I
Yep.
believe that's what
But
JJ. I think that's what one of the things that's going to be good having JJ there, because I
yeah.
think JJ understand that being a point guard that's a shooter, well, a shooter because he was a 2, right?
Yeah.
And always having to run back and forth and go to the corner. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then also being a high school star, broke records, playing for Duke, and then dealing with his trials and tribulations, and
Yeah.
then coming in the league and him thinking that he's one of those elite guys. He really thought he was one of those elite guys. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
telling you, when I watched them,
Oh,
they looked free. They did. They looked like, if I shoot this shot, it's open, it's okay. You know what I mean? You know who looked uncomfortable to me?
who?
LeBron. And my
Yeah.
barber had said something that was very interesting to me. He said, and I think that comes with LeBron being older, is that LeBron wants his hand on everything. And he said it's cool at times. He said now it's got to the point he's got to trust everybody and say that they're going to do their job. And I said I couldn't even get upset. You know what I mean? I said, you know what? Damn, you right. And I think that's where he's at. And it's good because he got his son there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm gonna
He could
let
be
it plane on
LeBron.
that. I'm gonna let it
Okay, go
plane
ahead.
on that one. Yeah. So I know
Uh-huh.
I don't even remember what I was going to say, but we'll just go to the next one. Yeah, because I
Okay.
forgot. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're gonna stay in the NFL. So we're gonna talk about Deshaun Watson injury. So essentially, um, in this game when they played the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals did win that game 21-14. So Deshaun Watson in this ball game, he actually was 15 for 17. He had 128 yards. And then chaos ensued where Deshaun Watson sustained a ruptured Achilles as he was being carted off, towel over his head and crying. That you hear boos and you hear cheers. So what was your thoughts on the fans cheering as he was caught off, and what is next for the Browns?
And I don't know what's next for the Browns, but I mean, we've seen it over the years. I was upset. I mean, I wasn't upset, but at first I was like, "That's cold." But I was like, I wonder now that their emotions are down, do they realize what they did? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I give you benefit of doubt at that time, but now that you realize certain things, are you looking at it like, man, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Because he is a human being, and you know, he's most likely might not be able to play football again. You know what I mean? Or not at a level. So, I mean, of course, I don't think it's cool. Like they've done a lot of stuff over the years that you just be like, you know, I ain't never seen nobody burn jerseys until, you know what I'm saying, I saw Cleveland do it. And then after that, it just seemed like anytime they get upset, they burn in jerseys. You know what I mean? Jerseys aren't cheap. So, I mean, when it comes to stuff like this, though, Coach, you got better, you know what I'm saying, answers when it comes to that. But at first, I'm not that type person to do that, you know, when they get hurt. But it, I think after everything, I was like, man, maybe they feel a little guilty the way they reacted at that time, especially what the crowd was saying on his way out.
Yeah. And to me, it's despicable. And I know I've heard so many people in these last 3 to 4 days and saying, well, it's because of, what he did. And, I just find it so funny, and I find it rich that these Browns fans are doing this because were y'all cheering, even though this was in Baltimore, but when you guys was rolling
Mm-hmm.
last year, got a win in Baltimore, and then Deshaun Watson comes out with a shoulder injury. Y'all didn't cheer
Mm-hmm.
for that to happen. I just find it funny now since the team is so bad that they're at this time 1-6. So what if they were 5-1 in this
Right.
on this team? They were 5-1. Would you would have cheered that he's there, that he's hurt? And then this is what people are saying. Well, what happened with the situation, with the lawsuits, the litigations, then the money, this, that, and the third. I'm thinking first off, y'all were champion when he first got here. Y'all were making up, and y'all would have had a moral high ground. Y'all were the one that was having these massage type jokes and signage and all type of stuff. And I've seen Browns fans that had them laying on a table as if they was having a massage. So I'm just like, now you want to have a moral high ground, talk about what he did was despicable, but y'all welcomed it in 2 years ago like it was nothing. But now,
Mm-hmm.
since you're 1-5 and you're struggling, and then the money, why is you worrying about what the money you're not paying for? That's like, my thing is this: yes, it's gonna put you in salary cap hell, but it is what it is. So why?
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. Is like, now y'all want to have a moral high ground about this, and then to me, it's like y'all see this man visibly crying, and y'all just want to, like, y'all still got to understand that regardless, because you can have a disdain for him for what he did in the past, but you can still have empathy for him in that particular moment. And I find it funny
Mm-hmm.
everybody saying that's karma, but it's going to be karma for you as well, because now you're wishing something ill will on that man, and that's going to be your karma. So something can happen to you, and people can cheer and laugh at you at your worst. So you're involving in the karma. You just let the things play out and don't call it karma. And my thing is with this whole situation, it's just, you can separate the two. Like, you can say, hey, what he did in the past is despicable. I don't, you can say that, and that's fine. But and then you can also say, okay, what he did was despicable, but I do have empathy for him, considering the fact that he has this, Achilles. He's ruptured his Achilles. He's pretty much essentially. This could have been his final attempt in this league. So this is my thing where I don't understand what the whole psyche behind like booing a guy like this. And you gotta think to yourself, this man going through some personal stuff. So could you imagine, you know, your father passing away weeks ago, and then you have an injury like this? So it's already like you already having a process of grief, and another thing. Now you have an extra layer of grief, and now now with your situation, with your injury, and yeah, people understand when something that you love to do is being taken away from you. That shit hurts. That shit hurts. So it's like, could you imagine him? And he loves, and I know he loves the game of football, and him not being able to play the game that he loves, and potentially, if even if he gets the opportunity, he won't probably be on the field, probably maybe until this time next year, potentially, or whenever. So I don't get that. That's the shit. That's stuff that upsets me about that situation. I think what's next for the Browns is, like we talked about it earlier, it's gonna be a fire sale. I mean, it's gonna be a couple of guys that's gonna be on this market, and it's gonna be whoever's willing to kind of come up and willing to like Myles Garrett, like who. And I know he's gonna have tons of suitors. Like Lee's gonna have to get the best deal, because I think currently, I don't know if they have the number 1 overall pick, but I think they could be potentially tied. So if you can get some draft capital, get some first round picks out of the deal for Myles Garrett, you do what you have to do. I think now you got to a point where this team is at a rebuild, and that's one thing too, where I almost kind of need to say the quiet part out loud. I think when they messed up was that signing Joe Flacco again, because this team is still legit. Like, this team is still a contending team. Like, as far as if you look at it from a roster standpoint, and I think if you had a guy like a Joe Flacco who, led you there, and, hopefully Jameis Winston can kind of do something potentially, but at this point at 1-6, it's they're too far gone. Like, it's to a point where I think they can't dig out of this type of hole for sure. So yeah, it's a fire sale. It's gonna be a 7 a.m. Saturday morning yard sale at the Cleveland Browns. So yeah, that's gonna happen.
All right.
Yeah.
You think Jameson's still gonna want to be there? Because he seemed like he really wasn't. I mean, I know he's gonna be professional. I know they're gonna do what they're supposed to do, but he really looked like, I'm not feeling this. This is what we doing, and that's why I be trying to say, like, no, regardless of what y'all think, that's not the real Browns. Like, they really, it's sad because they probably should have named the team something else, because real Browns is in Baltimore, and they carry themselves like a traditional team should. You know what I mean? Like, to me, you know what I mean? Win, lose, or draw, and anyway, you know what I mean?
And that's the thing with them. It's just that really irked my soul, because I'm just like,
man,
like this. I like you said, and I think and what Jameis, and I actually reposted what Jameis Winston said, because I agree with him, because just because of how you think of him, he's still here. So it's like, and he's working hard. And like I said, just imagine you losing the ability of doing what you love to do. That's hard. That's soul crushing. So regardless of, but I just find it funny that what I find funny yet rich is that when Jameis Winston and Myles Garrett come to the defense, it's a problem. And look, take it for as it is. Mm-hmm. And I'm not comparing apples to oranges to bananas, or any type of fruit group. But when Derek Carr came to Henry Ruggs' defense, we all was like, that's a stand-up guy. And why we can't say the same thing for Myles Garrett and them? They're his teammates. Y'all got, and they have to say these things, that they're his teammates. They work with him day in, day out. Just because they feel a certain way, and because I know when all this stuff was going on, we kind of shied away from it. We just be honest. We tiptoed, we pussyfooted the situation, and that's fine, because that's not what we do. We're not crime investigators. We're not on journalistic type of time. Mm-hmm. But we let the stuff play out. So we only reported kind of what was going on. We didn't go on the innuendos. Oh, with this person, we just reported what it was, and we treaded lightly, and that's what you're supposed to do. So that's my issue with it. So regardless of how whatever's presented to us is presented. Regardless if you feel that he's guilty or he's not.
Right.
Whatever happened. And but those guys, for them to talk about him in that kind of manner, there's nothing wrong with that. That's their teammate. Just like anything. This is like to bring up Derek Carr example. Yeah, some people probably thought because even we both was, I don't remember what we both was went at that time, but we said the same, almost in this sense where regardless of how you feel about Henry Ruggs, regardless of how you felt about the situation, there's still a certain part of you that still feels like, I know he has that survivor's type remorse type of situation. So not to say give him grace and things, but still understand despite what he did, there's still something there that there's another side of this where he's gonna have to live with this type of thing for the rest of his life. And not necessarily saying what Deshaun Watson in a sense comparative of what happened with Henry Ruggs, but in the same token, they're both was alleged. Well, Henry Ruggs wasn't alleged, we know, but as far as from the Deshaun Watson perspective, it's all alleged. Nothing, like we reported, like how when the case was dismissed, so when the lawsuits were settled, we discussed that. But like I said, so regardless of whatever's reported, there's still a certain situation where you can kind of you should be able to separate the two, and that was my biggest issue with what happened on Sunday.
All right. Probably years from now, it'll come out, and then we'll realize it wasn't all what we thought it was. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like everything else is some untold or some 30 for 30 tell the whole story, and then we like, well, damn, they just kind of ruined them, and like it wasn't even all what I mean, what they said. Yep. Like, well, how can you do that? You know what I mean?
Yep. And that's why, and kind of pulling people behind the curtain. There was times, and this is not on this show, but on other shows, other places, as far as that we've had this discourse about this Deshaun Watson thing. There were a lot of people that was casting certain things even before all this stuff happened. But we and I said, well, we gotta let this play out because you just don't know any of it. Like you said, and that's where it's like you kind of keep that same energy because like stuff like this would happen, and then say, for instance, like you said, 2 or 3 years later down the road, he's 30 years old, can't get an NFL job, and we find out something different, or hell, if it was the other way around, if it was proven that these cases sticked, then then that's when we will report it and then we will discuss it as it happens. So that's why when that stuff was going on, people was asking me like, "Oh, how are your thoughts on it?" I like, we got to play it out. We got to let it play out, and I think that's the biggest thing about all this, and that's the kind of beauty about all this. So that's the beauty thing about it. You got to let it play out because at the end of the day, because like you said, and I know sometimes we have wrong takes or freezing cold takes, but that type of stuff, you need all the facts before you can create something. Yes, I can say, I can say a certain person could be the rookie of the year and end up being a bust. I can make a stat or say, hey, like what was the week I said Ole Miss and Wake Forest could be a good game. That was a dud, but that is what it is. So you can get those stuff wrong, but this type of stuff, you whack it wrong without knowing the whole facts, and we probably will never ever know the complete facts of those situations or litigations. So,
well, I'll say this. Well, we know D-Hop left, then Watt left, and then somebody signed an extension, and we were like, why would you sign an extension with all this information coming out? Then he asked for, can he be, and then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of stuff coming out. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. Question was asked. We was already saying, why is he staying there? And it was almost like he was hostage. But it's all good. Just I hope, man, sending praise to him, though, man. I hope, what I mean? He'd be all right.
Yeah, because regardless of how I feel about the situation, he's still someone that was hurt, someone
Mm,
that has lost the ability to play the game that he loves, and the fact that and that's one thing too. You can't wish that on your downfall. Just like if anything, like I could be sitting here being happy for stuff like that, because it's like anything that you do in this life that you have a passion and you have a love for, and it's taken away.
mm,
But it's devastating. It's going to be devastating.
right.
And then on top of what we talked about him losing his father a few weeks ago, and it's you. I mean, wow. Like that's the thing where why would you cheer for that, and then something like that could potentially happen to you? That's the thing about all this. People don't
Yeah,
understand. Like
right. Don't think
people
that
just
way.
think that right, but that's the problem. That's the
Yeah,
problem with people, and that's I'm telling you. But I'm telling you that good that man upstairs, that good Lord, he'll
yeah,
humble you. He'll humble you. I mean, I'm trying to be like I mean, I'm trying to be preaching like James Winston and anything, but
right.
be careful. Be careful. Don't throw stones in the glass house.
And
Man.
that's the reality of all of it, man. When you are analysts that used to play, and you're an analyst, because the analysts need players to play the game. Like we've been there in 2020 where they was like, I bring that up all the time, bro. Like they was playing horse through an iPad. You know what I mean? And playing 2K, like it was no sports. And you
Yeah.
you need that. So regardless, Deshaun Watson is a name. I think a lot of people really wanted him to be successful too. From an analyst standpoint, players, I think everybody wanted him to play at a high level, and that's cool. And it's just real sad. I think everybody is really sad how everything is going. So, hopefully he get through this, and maybe if he don't get to play, because what's going to happen, he's probably gonna come back and he gonna mess around and play for the Steelers, and it'd be like his whole new door done open. He's back to
Yeah.
like, they always go
Mhm.
to the Steelers, and then everything works well. You know what I mean? And then they ready to go to another team. It's crazy,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, just
Yeah.
want to send him strength. I didn't know that his father had passed, so he was dealing with a lot, man. He's been dealing with a lot for a long time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. And it's gonna be interesting what Cleveland are gonna do, because obviously I think they're probably gonna be in the market to get a quarterback, because I think at this point, because I think even if you would, because they're gonna have to eat Deshaun Watson's contract. I think it's gonna be 130 something. 'Cause I think it's like 70 something one year and then like 60 or something next. So it's gonna be like in the neighborhood around like 130 something $1 million that they're gonna have to eat, which they're gonna have to be in the market to get a quarterback, especially if they at this trajectory where they're 1-6. If they're if they finish like within like the top 10, they're gonna have to get a quarterback and kind of really
mm.
just start this thing on over. And yeah, so who's to say? Carson Beck maybe there, because I know damn sure Shador not going, because I know Deion Sanders is not going. Deion Sanders will pull a Archie Manning on that situation. I can
Yeah,
I can see that right now, and I kind of welcome that in a sense where if
and then
Cleveland's
whose
in the
fault is
position,
that?
right?
Whose fault
Yep,
is that?
right.
Like, why if I have an option to say I don't want to play for a team or an organization, because I'm telling you, you got to really look at this organization, not this Cleveland Brown organization. You got to go before, like, it's not good. Like, it's a lot,
Ah,
man.
yeah,
You got Baker Mayfield running to the coach that went, didn't he go like 0-16 or 17 the year before or something like that? And he was, um, I'm talking about the coach that used to be for the Bengals, assistant
yeah.
coach for the Bengals.
Hugh Jackson. Hugh
Hugh
Jackson.
Jackson, like, he was like, he going, and then the next, he gets fired. Then Baker runs over there, points to him. It's like, that's just, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, it's a lot of little things that's been going on with that team, and it trickles down to the players, and then they feel they're a certain way, and then when things don't work out, team
Mm-hmm.
turns on them, the city turns on them, and then and then even before Baker. Even before
Right.
Baker, I can't even remember the people's
Right.
name, but it's just the same wheel over and over again.
Yeah.
Where is Bear at?
I mean, I actually talked to him right after the Commanders game, and he pretty
For
much
real?
just I talked to him. Yeah, I talked to him right after the game. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
he just said it's time to clean house. And yeah, I mean, especially at this point, I mean,
Right.
yeah, it just reminds me of I don't know if you remember America's Top Model when Tyra Banks shouted at the girls like, "We were all rooting for you, we were all
Right.
rooting for you," and that's how I felt with Cleveland. But until what happened on Sunday, I'm like, you're gonna get your commandments, like, and that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna have bad football. You're gonna y'all gonna cry in the car and then boo for Carson Beck next year. So good luck.
Right.
So. Yeah, you deserve Carson Beck. Don't send Cam Ward there either. Like yeah, but if but I sure hope Cleveland in a position where they're at a spot where they could draft Shador Sanders and Dion be like, nope. I'm ready for him to pull a Arch Manning. See now how everything kind of play out. How like we were looking
Right.
at the situation like, man, don't do that. But then I like if Cleveland comes into play, and he can pull a Archie Manning. Do it, pull it, Dion. We're rooting for you because yeah, don't send Shador to Cleveland because guess what? It definitely won't be perfect timing. You
Mm,
get it?
right.
You get it? The song, he had a song
Yeah.
called "Perfect Timing." So
Who did Dion?
Shador, not
Shador? Oh
Shador.
yeah, I ain't listening to
Yeah,
Shador. I be watching the YouTube stuff and they get to rap and I'm like,
what?
ski,
That's
ooh
that's like
ooh,
that's like they that's like
ski.
their that's like they fight song, dude. They play that mess all the time, dude. They play
Oh
that mess
yeah,
all the time, Lord. And I don't care whoever feed you looking at, even when what's a jig, oh Lord, dear sweet Palau. Be quiet. Chill out.
dude. Travis Hunter
That's
be
how
in a
we good,
onesie,
right?
right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, Travis Hunter, man. Hey, Travis Hunter, I like him. Like he's just one of kind of cats that's just chill, laid back. He just wanna,
Mm-hmm.
just wanna go fishing, him and his girl, and play video games and dance in a onesie. But that's what you wanted. That's what you want as far as somebody on your football team that ain't a knucklehead. He ain't out here ain't doing nothing stupid. All he
Right.
doing is playing games, dancing in the onesie, being with his fiance and
His
fishing.
fiance fine too.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But yeah, man, it's crazy. But so we gotta talk about staying in the National Football League. We gotta talk about Tua. So we all remember was concussed in week 2 of the NFL season, and in a weird way, obviously he collided with Damar Hamlin. That was
Mm-hmm.
definitely not in our 2024 NFL bingo card, where essentially Tua hits his head on Damar Hamlin's chest and sustained concussion. So
Mm-hmm.
crazy! I'm telling you, the NFL season will create headlines can just be generated at a drop of a head in the NFL. That's one that thing about the NFL. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's the Thanksgiving turkey that you can use all the way up until the middle of December. So
Mm-hmm.
so Tua is set to return following that concussion that we just mentioned earlier. So when asked about him coming back and will he use a guardian cap, obviously we know. So a guardian cap, most people, and this is for context. This is just more for satire in a sense. A lot of people consummate the guardian cap as a condom helmet, but
Mm-hmm.
essentially what it is, it's a soft protective helmet cover. And also it's been scientifically proved that it helps reduce head injuries. And
Uh-huh.
it's something that guys use in contact practices for the exception of quarterbacks, punters, and kickers. So when asked about him getting a guardian cap, and he said no. And then also in that press conference that he did on Monday, he said the quote, and end quote, I love this game and I love it to the death of me. End quote. So let's kind of unpack this Tua situation. What's your thoughts on Tua returning and not wearing the guardian cap?
I think he should wear the cap if it's gonna help. And he just got paid, so that means that they're looking for him to be there for a while. And when I think of Tua, one of the main things I think of Tua is concussions and getting hurt. I think he should wear it. I think, as you know, I think it's kind of prideful, and it's like Ben Roethlisberger when he got in trouble driving a motorcycle. And I used to hang with a bunch of bikers, and he was like, "Well, it's not illegal not to wear a helmet in Pennsylvania." And in the words of my biker buddy, he's stupid. He's just stupid. Like, you know what I mean? And so even though it's not illegal, you should still wear a helmet to protect yourself. You know what I mean? Especially since an organization is invested in you. So if that's the thing that's going to help you, you know what I mean? Because I'm sure when you have concussion, they really want you to sit out for a while so you can heal. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just think he should do it, man. I think they should really make him do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, like you said, I think this is like a pride, but I know, and also too in that presser, he pretty much consummated almost like the same risk as getting into a car, which I find. I'm going to use this term a lot as well too. I find that rich because even in the sense in that token, yes, you take a risk of that, but guess what? Guess what? Normally, when you drive a car, most people wear a seatbelt. They wear a seatbelt
Mm,
because in the event if there is an accident, this protects me. So it's almost like going against what he's saying in the sense. And I think the garden cap, it doesn't, like you said, wearing a seatbelt doesn't necessarily prevent you from, it doesn't prevent you from having an accident, but it helps you in the event if you get in an accident. It helps as far as protect you. So, like if a
mm,
situation, if there's so much impact where instead of you flying outside of a car, you can stay inside so you don't fall, you don't get out of a car and fall, feet and feet away from the scene or fly out the car. And the
right,
same thing goes in this case. It doesn't necessarily stop you from getting a concussion, but it will lessen the impact on your skull.
right,
So that's the thing where I was shocked no one really kind of challenged him on that in the press conference on Monday. But obviously now thinking back, I think sometimes too when you're in a situation you really don't think that quickly as that. But I thought about it today. It's like, well, if you're saying that, then I mean, but there's risk involved with everything. But it's like everything. That's just there's always we always will try to find in any risk that we have in situation, we're always going to find a way to minimize the risk. We know that yes, you can get into a car and get in a car accident, but we wear a seatbelt to protect us in the event if we are in a seatbelt. And the same thing can go
right,
for him, where like like especially in that case, not to kind of talk about the situation in week two, is eerily similar where because honestly that concussion could have been avoided because you were
right,
already at the first down. You could have just slid. Why would you run into DeMar Hamlin's chest? Why would you run into somebody and you're already there? There's no need to get extra yards. You got the first down. You got an opportunity to play potentially 4 downs on that drive, four more plays on that drive. So why would you go past the first down marker, get get contact? That's extra. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like that's the frustrating about it, where you wouldn't even had to worry about that. Like you were already there. You were at a point where you could have slid like before you even got to Damar Hamlin.
hmm,
So it's just like kind of just it's so the fact that him not having a guard cap and I've just found it weird because I know a lot of people have objected to it, and I think why far as prefacing in a sense because a lot of people look at it from a standpoint of the guard cap is not good from an aesthetic standpoint and it's uncomfortable. But I think at a point, especially two have been out for 6 weeks. So why not in these 6 weeks of time kind of get your body acclimated to the guardian cap? Like,
mm.
and that's the thing where it's just I don't get it. And then and the reason why I wanted to bring up that quote, and I'm gonna say it one more time. I love this game and I love it to the death of me. I'm telling you, it's power in that tongue, and I'm telling you,
Yeah.
you playing a dangerous game. And this is more than we not even talking. We just beyond the scope of the yard, the football field. I'm just saying, it's man. All I say is I just hope whatever that he will be more protective, that he will avoid that type of contact, especially a contact that in my personal opinion was unwarranted. He needs to stay away from those type of plays, especially when it was in front of you. And I just
Mm-hmm.
hope that and I hope he can be able to preserve the rest of his NFL career. But I think if he gets one more, he's really, really gotta. If he gets one in this season, he's really got to consider
I thought he was done.
hanging it up. Yeah,
I'm shocked that when you said put that on there today. When you put it on the show, I was like, "Are he coming back already?" Especially
yeah,
since they just paid him. And I was think
yeah,
that, all right, this happened. Let's give it some time because you're basically saying you want him to be there for a few more years. So it's like a reboot. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
clearly
man.
the season is not going how you thought it is. So you really think Tua coming back? Ask Jerome
Yeah.
do he think that Tua should have sat out probably this season? Like, you know what I mean? And heal up.
I think he still think Tua trash from what I recall. I think he
Right.
still
He
think he's
do.
trash.
He do.
But yeah, and that's I because I know he was trying to come back in week 8, a few weeks ago. So now look, it's official because I think what's today, Wednesday. I think he was a full participant in practice. So essentially, I think he's um cleared. So he'll be playing Sunday against the Cardinals. It looks like at this point, I mean, it's recording this now live on a Wednesday, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. All signs are pointing for him to come back on Sunday. So, like I said, I just hope. All I gotta say is I just hope that he can avoid those hits and just be mindful of it, and if like I said, if he gets another one this year, he really needs to start thinking about life after football at this
Right.
point. Because, yeah, but yeah. So all right, so we'll go on to our next one. So we're gonna talk about some game to watch this weekend. It's like we've been doing this pretty much since the advent of the football season this year. So what is your game to watch this weekend? What you got?
I got the 5-2 Bills versus the 4-3 Seahawks. Um, and I got the 4-2 Bears versus the 5-2 Commanders.
Yeah. Yeah, that Bills and Seahawks game is gonna be really good. Obviously, both coming off of win, especially Seahawks coming off a win beating Atlanta. Curious what's
Mhm.
going. I don't think DK is probably gonna play. I know he got hurt in the Atlanta game, so curious. To see. But yeah, my game to watch obviously is going to be Commanders versus the Bears. This is weird because if the season ended today, this would be a wild card game. This would be the number 2 seed Washington Commanders versus the number 7 seed Chicago Bears. So this would be a playoff matchup if the season ended today. So
Mm.
it's really going to be interesting of how this all play. I think the biggest storyline is going to be if Jay Daniels is going to play. And like I
Mhm.
said, once again, we're doing this live here on Wednesday. He did not practice today, so um, who's to say if he practiced tomorrow, which would be Thursday? Obviously, if you're looking at this late on, we are recording this on a Wednesday, but
Right.
Thursday, we'll see how he practiced Thursday or Friday, and then we'll just kind of see how that plays out. And I think this is another race of the rookie. I think this is another one where obviously this is a matchup not necessarily going to put, as far as how this rookie of the year race will play out in a sense where I think you will kind of see this could be a situation where one could be ahead of the other or, what have you. Because that quietly, Caleb Williams is having somewhat of a pretty good rookie season. He's at this point 9 touchdowns on the season. I think he's had the most touchdowns for a Bears rookie quarterback in some time. I don't think I think you think of all the rookie quarterbacks they've had, like Justin Fields, Mitch Trubisky, especially in this modern era, probably in the 21st century, he's
Right.
had the most. I think Justin Fields had like 7 his first year. And I think Mitch Trubisky had like 7, that was something like that, something in that nature. So he's already has surpassed them already, and even halfway through the season. So you look at that. Obviously, like we're talking about, if Jaden Daniels do play, obviously. But we shall see. I think he has 6 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The Commanders got no one offense in the NFL, 31.1. And then you look at the Bears defensively, they give up only 16.8 points per game. They're 8th in the NFL. So, and then curious how this Washington secondary will be, especially you got such a talented group with the Bears. So, yeah, and it's another one we flex, and the big guns at CBS is coming. So we got Tony Romo, Jim Nantz, Tracy. They're gonna be at the game. So once again, hey, we got flexed out. We was a 1:00 game. Now we flexed as 4:25. Oh yeah, we got CBS 18 this week. So a lot of ads gonna be on us nationally. So
You think your quarterback gonna play?
I don't know. I mean, so they were saying that he was week to week. So to me, when I hear week to week, I don't think he's gonna play. So I don't know. I mean, I'll just put it this way: don't rush him. I'm at a point where if it's to me at this point, if something's going on with that rib, and I don't want him to re-aggravate that rib. Yeah. If he has to sit out this week, I'm fine with if he be ready for the Giants game on the 3rd. I'm good. Hey, if you want to come back 2 weeks against the Steelers, I'm good. Like just get there and get healthy, because I mean at this point, I mean you don't. That's one thing where you don't. Even though Marcus Mariota looked good on Sunday, but that was against the Carolina Panthers. So when they say week to week, and I know his mama tweeted that he's good, but is he good to play? And all signs look like, I don't know. It's just like Sunday. Obviously, he came back on the sidelines, smiling, jovial. So I'm thinking to myself, it don't sound like it didn't feel like he had a problem with breathing. You think about ribs, okay, you would think like he, maybe some breathing issues potentially with the ribs. I mean, he was able to, come out in the second half in street clothes, and it was really engaged. So, and then this whole thing Monday was like week to week. I'm like, I don't know. It's I'm telling you, it's like date. It's like being it's like you meeting a woman, and you get mixed signals. One day everything's good, then the next, like, she ignores you, or like she doesn't text you as frequently like she did as day one. I think that's where my anxiety. I don't want to say anxiety. I think that's kind of too big of too much hyperbole. But it's kind of the mixed signals. But so a part of me think he's gonna play. So if I had to put a percentage on it, I would say about 50-50.
Yeah, because for them to change it and have the A team, and that's definitely his competition for rookie of the year. That's why I think that he would play. But
they flexed that last week though, before he got hurt. So yeah.
But I mean, but they, hey, it's looking like y'all might win y'all division. So I guess you can start thinking about that.
Yeah, and I think CBS, they know, like, that was gonna be a revenue driven. That's gonna be, when they flexed it out last week, that was their thought that, hey, why not do that? But yeah, this is the season, and it's another one too where it's weird because now your games are getting flexed, and it's just like, wow, like it's strange. It's like, okay, no more just straight 1:00 games, and we having like the Fox like D team. Not and this is not no knock on the D team or whatever. Fox is always great, like as far as all their teams, but more so not saying like when people say when people refer like the D team or the C team, it's something negative. But we don't get like the Tom Brady's and the Burkharts come. We have the Chris Myers, Mark Schlereth, and Jen Hale, and all them, and Christina Pink, and Pam Oliver. I think Pam Oliver was out of game maybe like 2-3 weeks ago. So Pam Oliver, Greg Olson, I forgot who else is there. But yeah, we usually get like the second or the third team with it. So yeah, so for us to get like the major, the A teams for both networks, and then I'm assuming Sunday Night Football gonna be calling us soon. I mean, not calling us, but flexing us soon. So
right, big dog.
Yeah, and the Lord, I just hope that that Chris Collinsworth doesn't fall in love with Jay Davis like he do like with Patrick Mahomes. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for the as a young kid say, I'm not ready for the glazing of my quarterback one. Because he talked that Patrick Mahomes.
This quarterback is so special. Like, man, he can see the safeties. He can see
this guy,
the hot dog guy.
Yeah.
Like, he has the greatest vision. Like, when I was a quarterback, man, I ain't have none of those tools.
I'm like, get a room, Collinsworth. Jesus Christ. Get a room, Collinsworth. My gosh. Like, how does it taste, But yeah. So yeah, that's our case of watch. So we're gonna do our NFL, our picks. So we got NFL mixed with some NFL mixed with some college football. So we're gonna do college football first. So we got a good game in East Rutherford, New Jersey this Saturday. We got number 12 Notre Dame versus number 24 Navy. Wow. The Michigan ranked. What you got?
I'm going number 12 Notre Dame.
Yeah, I kind of want to lean towards Notre Dame too, because this is pretty much a season-saving type of potential game for them. They gotta win this game if they still want to be in a hunt at this point. Especially we're about a few weeks away from the poll, the first college football poll. I think I come out like November the 5th. I think my memory is correct. I think so. That's 13 days. So, I don't know. I'm feeling a little risky tonight. I'm gonna go with the midshipmen of Navy. I'm gonna challenge my inner village people, in the Navy. So give me the midshipmen.
Macho man.
Right. So give me the midshipmen. The midshipmen's gonna take care of business. We got So we got number 20 Illinois going to Oregon, the number 1 ranked Oregon Ducks. What you got?
I'm gonna give it to Oregon.
I'm gonna give it to Oregon too. I think I definitely think it's gonna win. Okay, so we got a big one in the SEC. I think SEC. I'm telling you, chef's kiss. I'm telling you, if the SEC lost, obviously CBS. They lost the SEC, but boy, it would have been a hell of a year if CBS would have still had the SEC on CBS, but they don't. Man, you got number 5 Texas versus number 25 Vandy. Who you got?
I'm going with Texas. Isn't Texas the team that played where they were throwing water bottles on the field?
Yeah, last week. Yeah,
Word. That's why I'm saying that. And I think because of those certain circumstances and things that happen, I think they're gonna try to really let everybody know that was a fluke. So I'm going Texas.
Gosh, I really want to be messy. I want to be messy, because if this happened, I'm telling you, the SEC is going to be flipped upside down. But I'm not going to do it. I'm gonna have Texas, man. I don't think Vandy gonna pull it off, because if they pull off another top 5, could you imagine? I'm telling you, how crazy a world that we would live in if Vanderbilt could potentially have 2 wins against two top 5 wins in one season.
Right.
If that happens again, and I think this is in Nashville, man, that goalpost is gonna stay in that river. Them kids gonna take that thing all the way to the river, and it's gonna be so deep in that river, ain't nobody even balls. Even cadavers couldn't find that goalpost. It's gonna be crazy. But if Vanderbilt gets 2 top 5 wins, that's
hold on. Who did Vanderbilt beat before? Who did Vanderbilt beat?
Alabama.
That was the top 5. Hold on.
And Alabama's number 1.
So up. Is that the what's the quarterback's name?
What was his name?
Was it Latino? That Latino quarterback?
It was Papula. What is that?
Or something like that.
What was their name? Because it was
it was a couple weeks ago though, right?
It was Diego Pavia. Yeah, Pavia.
Oh man. I'm going Vandy.
You want to go Vandy? Okay.
I'm going Vandy. Yeah, that running back and that quarterback. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem.
That's gonna be wild. So, because who would be the front runner? That's crazy to think.
Arguably, that might be the best game to watch.
Potentially, yeah. But yeah, I think Texas is gonna bounce back, and then it's weird though. I don't know. But I'm gonna give Texas. But I tell you, Vanderbilt pulled this off, man. I'm telling you, college football, as we know it, is gonna change forever. Because you would never ever imagine that Vanderbilt could literally would have 2 wins over 2 top 5 teams in the country, and yet alone in the SEC.
Right.
That's crazy. What
right.
Yeah, shoot, that goalpost gonna be in that river, and it ain't never.
What time is that game? What time is that
game? I think that is a midday game. I think because I think I had it in order. So either this in that 12 or 3:30 window. Let's see, what time is that one? But yeah, it's gonna. I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be. If that happens, man. That's gonna be strange, but but funny thing about it could potentially happen, and that's the crazy thing about all that. It could definitely happen. So, man, but we shall see. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm going for Vandy. I think that quarterback is special.
So that is a 4:15 game.
I'll be at work, so I'll be in the Enterprise truck around Bowling Green and Thornburg.
But guess what?
My earbuds on. Huh?
Yep, there's app for that.
Right. My earbuds in.
Yep, for sure. That's what I like about college football. But yeah. All right, so we got number 21 Missouri versus number 15 Alabama. What you got?
You know what? I picked Missouri.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, I picked Missouri because I was. It's something about Alabama that is not the same. Definitely since Nick's gone, but I feel like they kind of need this so they can rebuild. You know what I mean?
Yeah, give me Alabama. Give me the fighting Dabo Sweeneys. So we got number 8 LSU versus Texas A&M.
I'll go in LSU.
You'll get the fighting Jaden Daniels. Give me A&M. They're like kind of one low key, like kind of one of the hottest teams in the country in a sense. Yeah, give me Texas A&M. Give me the fighting Johnny Manziels. All right,
Hmm.
so we got we got some NFL primetime picks. So we got tomorrow night's game on Amazon. We got Sam Donald, you know, going back to Cali. Well, that he ain't from Cali, but he did this thing in the Rose Bowl about 6 years ago. But head to Inglewood to face the Rams on a Thursday night affair on Amazon Prime. What you got? We got in this game.
I'm going with the Vikings.
Okay. Yeah, give me the Vikings as well. But yep, so yeah, Thursday night affair. Always. We always gotta do our Thursday plug. Definitely. Taylor Rook should be on that thing about CM20. So just get to the app at 6:59. Trust me. Trust me. All you gotta do is it'll be right there for you at 6:59. They take you right to where you need to be. But get there for CM20. It's appointment television. But all right, so we got Sunday night football, a blue blood matchup. We got the Dallas Cowboys versus the San Francisco 49ers.
um, I picked the 49ers because I don't think Dallas is as good as but man, it's hard to pick the 49ers because they hurt, but it's like almost like they might have should have went and got D Hop. But I'm picking the 49ers.
In a weird way, and it's kind of strange because obviously it's a perfect storm because you think to yourself, okay, you're coming off this bad week. Dallas coming off this bad week. You got a wounded San Francisco team, obviously with no Ayuk. He's done for the
Mm-hmm.
season. This would be kind of one of those weird, bizarre games that Dallas would F around and win. So almost similar to in y'all matchup. Did I think that the Dallas Cowboys gonna beat the Pittsburgh Steelers? No. And it's kind of when it comes up in this situation yet again. I definitely think in a weird way they get it done in the road. They get the win at a place they make jeans. So so
I'm
give me
hoping
that
your
team.
coach.
Hmm?
So I'm hoping your coach, man, figure out a way to because that's the thing that's going on now. The way they looking at Brock Purdy, they was like, Kyle Shanahan will always say he can get any quarterback in there and he can bring the best out of them. And I mean, damn, he ain't got nobody, man. He ain't really got nobody to throw the ball to. Like,
Right,
and
don't.
everybody that's gone got paid. That's what's crazy. I was like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think the team from Arlington will win the football game. So good luck to that. Then we got a Monday night game. Interesting. We got the New York Giants versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. We are know where you're going, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that's a given. I mean, especially the way this Giant team is playing. Even though they're another team that has had like semblance, has had some games that they should have won, but they lost, and they had some games that they should have lost, but they end up winning. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think Steelers gonna win this game for sure. So yeah. All right. So all right. So what we're gonna do next is our game ball. We'll do our game ball first. So who get this week's game ball for you?
I had it going into Russell Wilson. I had, Richmond, blah, blah, blah. But then I watched something when I took my nap and I watched something, and I'm giving my game ball to the vlogger, legendary, iconic Oprah Cypherson. So, back in the day, our past, I was telling you I was a fan of him. And when, I watched this journey, he a big LeBron fan. So to see him back in the day where he was he went to Chicago and he kept asking LeBron, I'm your biggest fan. But Kyrie said something to him, right? And then later
Mhm.
on after that, to see Bronny come and give him a 5, and him and Bronny was able to take pictures and talk. To see
Mhm.
him when you see LeBron and Bronny taking off their jerseys to get in the game. Oprah side is in the second row, right there behind them. And I was just like, man, I'm giving him the game ball because he was like, he went to his old self. He was like, man, Bronny, me and you talk. I tagged you. Man, it would mean the world to me if you could just get a picture of me, you, and LeBron. And I just thought it was hilarious. But just to see where he was at, to see him, he's actually in in the front row at a Laker game, sitting right behind him, and how all three of them. I mean, who'd ever thought he would be there watching LeBron and Bronny going into the Laker game? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So but I wanted to give him the game ball for that.
Yeah, for sure. So I had to give my game ball to the guy who coined the phrase "I win." Google me. Kirk Cinetti. So that's the current coach of Indiana University. If you're from this area and you follow JMU football, they used to be the former head coach at James Madison University. He's leading the Hoosiers to a 7-0 record. They had a 56-7 win over Nebraska last week. So this is the first time that the Indiana Hoosiers, and we're not talking about basketball, we're talking about Indiana Hoosiers football. First time they've been 7-0 since 1967. And doing a hell of a job down in Indiana. I know a lot of people looked at that move some looked at it as kind of like a lateral move. So not lateral move, like a move where it's like kind of like going back. But what he's doing at Indiana, yeah, that's amazing. But and yet again, he was doing this at James Madison. So like like he said, I win. Google me, and if you Google him, I think he like 126 and like I think 30 or something. I forgot what was the record, but you Google him. Oh, he has an impressive record for sure, especially at what he's been, and obviously he's been all over the place. And he was actually a part of Nick Saban OG staff when he first got to Alabama. So yeah. But yes, I'm glad people starting to see him on a local level, because I know obviously being in Virginia, we knew about Kurt, but they know him everywhere. They know him in Indianapolis. They know him in Bloomingdale. They know him in Bloomingdale. He almost get the keys to the city at this point.
Right.
At 7-0. So before we head on out, final thoughts, social media, and we'll wrap it on up.
I mean, great show. Social media is Deshaun Morgan, Facebook, and DT Morgan 78 Instagram.
All right. Yeah. Once again, great show. Yeah, pretty much social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on the Couch Coach Live. Also the website couchcoachlive.com. Just definitely check out our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on the Couch Coach Live. In these next few days, we got some content coming out. So we'll have some play interviews that I did actually today with I think we're just about able to interview generally everybody from the VCU men's basketball team. So we'll have those coming out in the next couple of days. So we have that, and we still got some content from ATN Media Day that will be releasing out as well. And then Spider Bite podcast. If you're a fan of University of Richmond football, we'll have an episode up tomorrow, previewing that matchup against Bryant. So got a lot of things going on here, and so. Once again, another great show, and we'll catch you guys next week, man. This has been this week's Couch Coach Live, man, and we're out.
You're welcome.
Yep. Yes, indeed.